Getting ready for an event tonight called Goth Prom, and I was thinking a lot about the goth subculture in general. The thing that gets things really moving in the goth scene is exposure. You want people to find things because if they don't know that they're there, they don't know that they exist, nobody's going to go to them, and if nobody goes, then the place just closes down and then things die. And that's kind of like the last thing that anybody really wants, right? I started my YouTube channel, I want to say back in 2016, 2017, and when I did, I wanted it to be really information heavy about the goth subculture. Like, I wanted it to provide literally like a GPS route so nobody had any issues finding the things that they wanted to find, because it's really important to build these things back up, and there's a lot of reasons for that. The majority of goth content creators, the reason that we create the content that we do is for baby bats and people that are new to the subculture. And we create it because we want you to be able to have as much accurate information as humanly possible regarding the subculture, because there's so many amazing things involved. But the thing is, how can you experience any of those things if you can't find it in the first place? So that's why we do what we do. So the knock-on effects to that are baby bats that don't find the very thing that they're looking for, and they can't find the thing that they're connected to, and then they don't have the opportunity, they're robbed of the opportunity of making memories and finding the very things that could be very much essentially part of their soul. Another thing is that goth events, they can't happen because without the numbers, goth events can't happen, so these things shut down and there's nowhere for us to go. New bands, what incentive do they have to make music if nobody's actually listening to it? So there's so many different things that happen as a result of people not finding the subculture, and it's so vastly important to us that you get the right information. We want you to find it. Something that I find incredibly confusing is when you're trying your dead level best to give people the proper information, and you're giving all this information. You're practically providing a GPS destination route for the goth subculture, and a person who, let's say for example, they're the ones that are creating the misinformation that's out there, they respond by calling you a gatekeeper. Do you really know what a gatekeeper is? A gatekeeper is somebody that wants to keep you away from something. They're literally trying to slam the gates in your face because they don't want you to find it. They're not going to provide information. They're going to do the polar opposite. They're going to keep as much information from you as humanly possible. They're going to sabotage you at every point just to make sure that you do not find a single thing, because they do not want you to be part of the subculture. So they gatekeep you. A gatekeeper doesn't give you information. By providing mass quantities of information and by fighting misinformation, we're literally handing you the keys to the gate because we want you. We want you to be involved, and we don't want you to be robbed of these experiences. I can categorically state that goth has saved me, and I know that probably sounds really melodramatic, but I found goth when I was about 15 years old. That's when I got involved in the subculture, and I came from a very unstable, abusive household. I had both parents drug addicts, and it was very abusive, very neglectful, CPS reports. And when I found goth, I found myself, I found my family, I found my identity, and it has shaped who I am today. And when I think of all the experiences, I think of the friends, I think of the memories that I would never replace for anything. All of those memories, it makes me insane to think that there's a possibility that there are people out there that want to be part of it and might not find it. So that's why we do what we do. That's why we're trying to hand you the keys so that you can come and be involved. We want to give you information and insight. We don't want to take it away from you. We want you to be part of this thing. I'm from New York, and there are a lot of events that are happening in New York right now, in Manhattan as well as Brooklyn and Queens, but despite all those different events happening in those places, I'm choosing to go to the events on Long Island, and the reason is we need to kind of build them up, and I want to support it to build it up to what it was. There's a lot of baby bats on Long Island, and it's near impossible for them to travel into the city for varying reasons, whether it be curfew, the amount of money it takes to take the train into the city. There's a lot of reasons as to why. So it's important for baby bats to have a place to integrate, and especially to find people like them. The reason that it's so important for baby bats to be able to integrate in in-person spaces like this is because it helps them feel a sense of community, that sense of belonging, to find people that are like them, and to help validate their existence and help them grow as individuals. Because it's important as a goth to be able to find your tribe, and it's really difficult when you're kind of like the only goth in the village and there's nobody else like you. And it's one thing to integrate in online spaces. It's good that online spaces exist, but it would be even better if we can work really hard to make sure that these in-person places exist so that baby bats have a place to grow and flourish, and we have a space to go to as well. So remember, true gatekeeping, nobody is telling you a damn thing because they don't want you to find it and they want you to be kept out. Somebody handing you the keys to the gate, that's when they're giving you information that they want you part of the subculture. So I know it's hard, but you'll get the hang of it.